Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Memorial Day weekend Friday. I'm Jen Wilson with Convergence Coaching, and with me today is my good friend Amy Vetter. And we are here to talk about what's happening in the profession in our lives and hopefully interact with you guys too. We hope that you'll send us questions and thoughts as we go or participate in the discussion with your own insights as well. So I'm going to start us off today just sort of sharing a little bit about how I spent my week. I spent my week with a whole bunch of young people, future leaders in our profession, senior, 2-year seniors, 3-year seniors, and managers and senior managers, all going through different discussions of leadership. And it was the most hopeful, positive, exciting way to spend a week. I can't tell you. And I get a lot of future leader work, so it's not like I never get to hang with future leaders, but getting 4 days straight was a huge shot in the arm. And really, Amy, what I thought was so amazing was how transparent they were, how vulnerable they were, how open and honest about their fears and uncertainties and doubts and flaws and mistakes, and how straight they were about their goals and dreams and what inspires and motivates them and how much hope they had. And it just reminded me of all that's possible in leadership. And I just thought I'd start us there by saying, wouldn't it be great if everybody we knew could come to the table and be so authentic and so real and so hopeful?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think it's a good reminder as a leader to remember what it's like to be a beginner again, because I think we all are there right now. We get to this point when we keep growing in our careers of being an expert, listening less and less and less as you move up the ranks and telling what to do more and more and more. And with what we've gone through in the last few months, everyone is a beginner. And now is the time to really slow down and remember how to learn again and get back to the basics and make sure everybody is really grounded and prepared for the new technology they have, new processes in place, and getting set up the right way. And I think, we get all wrapped up in the terminology that's been coming at us for many years: AI, machine learning, bots, cryptocurrency, all of the stuff that we talk about. But we actually need to step back and go, are we actually cloud-based? Are we actually set up for the future in the right way? Because now we've seen, if we didn't move fast enough before, what went wrong in a time like this. And so to get grounded back into the basics and be comfortable in the uncomfortable of learning.
Oh, I love that. And one of the graduates of one of our leadership programs, Monday, we always ask, sum up your experience in one word. And he, chose a kind of a hyphenated word: unwelcome, but necessary, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I had to be so uncomfortable to face some of the things about myself. I think that's really, we have to face some things about ourselves and our firms that weren't working before COVID-19.
Yes.
I think that's kind of where you are. And this idea of, I have to, we really do need to stop and evaluate, what can we learn from this? And what can we take away? And what could be better about ourselves as leaders, better about ourselves as firms after this whole thing goes away? I've said this a couple times in our leadership lunch chats, and I feel like a broken record, but I'll say it until the fear goes away. But I hear people talk about trying to get back to normal. They're like, I can't wait to get back to normal, to the way it was. And I think that's such a tragic mistake. I think that normal and the way it was had a lot of things that could be improved. And why wouldn't we figure out what those are and tackle some of those right now? And this idea of technology you raise, you've said it to me before, that that people still need the basics, that there's still a lot of misunderstanding about the technologies and, what is true cloud versus VPN, sort of, access to a on-premise solution? Is the data really in the cloud? What sort of access are we giving our people? We found that in this crisis, when we first went to remote, that there were some firms that didn't have laptops for every person.
Right.
I consider that fundamental. Well, webcams embedded in the laptops, if possible, but also just like everybody, there were a lot of people that had desktop machines and they had to lug those things to their house. And, I think there's so much that we could begin shifting, or if we've already shifted it, make sure we preserve it. I love that, going back to the basics of being a learner and really recognizing that inside the post-COVID-19 reopening and all of that, there's so much to learn and change and be open to.
Yeah, I think it's important to really step back and look at what is working, what isn't working, and what do we want to do different going forward. And talk to your staff and your team members, your coworkers, and ask them for their feedback as well, so that you get the right training in place this summer. I think, I know there's just so much coming at everyone right now with different deadlines and PPP loans and all of that other stuff. But there has to be time carved out for education. And too many times that gets pushed to the wayside because there's just, we're focused on the work, but we can't do good work if people don't feel supported and if they start feeling stressed out. And I think, going back to what you said, when someone is newer in their career and can be vulnerable because there's nothing on the line, that changes over time because people are afraid to speak up. They're afraid to show they might not understand something and they might not how to do anything, do what they need to do. And as leaders, a lot of times we don't speak up to say we don't know how, that we're always expected to have the answer. And it's important to seek those answers, to network right now, but also look for the right education and training opportunities for yourself and for the people that you work with, so that they don't feel stressed out or anxiety about what's to come.
Yeah. Well, and I think, as always in strategy, you start with the big picture and funnel down to the small tactic, whatever that is. And so, I've done some vision committee and vision steering committee facilitation meetings, which are a form of strategic planning via Zoom in the last couple of weeks. And I've been super encouraged. Usually, to me, the adage holds that if a firm does a vision plan, they're pretty progressive. Their eyes are on the horizon. They're thinking out there ways. And so I was with a couple vision committees in the last 2 weeks, and I was really encouraged by some of the things they're putting at stake, like the big strategies that would funnel down to this education you're talking about. And one is like, what if we really went after remote service delivery? What if we really said, hey, we got remote works. We can have people work for us from anywhere, but also our clients are accepting remote service. So why don't we figure out how to build a real machine for remote service delivery with excellent client experience, wonderful quality, and have it be a differentiator? And that's an example of a big strategy, a big idea, and an encouraging one. We're advocates of it, so of course we're thrilled when we hear people saying they're going to do it. Right. And then you funnel that down into the tactics. So how do we get there? Well, each of the service lines needs to develop a methodology for remote service delivery and figure out what the risks are with remote, and begin to modify our on-premise methodology to reflect that. What sort of training do we need? What sort of technology investments are we going to have to make? We made a bunch maybe before COVID-19. We might have had to make some Band-Aid investments during this crisis to get us there, but what do we have to invest in long range to make this a core competence? And I think that's a good example of where firms ought to be thinking about what are going to be our big rocks, our big strategies that are going to come out of this, that are exciting and differentiating, and then how can we begin the execution stage, which includes teaching people. And I might have been a 30-year auditor or something, and I know how to audit, And now we're going to do remote auditing, and we're going to do more of it and a lot more of it. I'm going to have to be humble enough to be taught.
Right.
And, I can say, yeah.
And not bite off too much. So, this, there was a kind of windfall of everything that needed to get done. But now we kind of have to assess what is the technology or the process, and even a step prior to that, who do we want to serve? Who do we like as clients? So if we even look at the situation that we've been in during this time, who are the clients that you wanted to go help? Like that, they weren't like anxious with you every single day, or you were, not getting work done because they were taking more time from you, and then you wanted to spend time on something else. Like where does your passion sit? And then step back and say, okay, if I want to focus on construction audit, let's say, that's the one I want to go in, then I need to look at the right tools that would enable me from a remote audit standpoint to do the work that I do, but also map it out and then choose one to start with. Because if you try to, jump in too fast with everything, that is, it's going to create more stress on everyone, and there's less milestones of success along the way where people can feel like they can celebrate what's happening and feel like they're accomplishing something and making steps forward.
For sure. So that idea of not overcommitting and under-delivering, or being a mile wide and an inch deep, biting off more than you can chew. There's 1,000 euphemisms for it, because we all tend to do it. So there's a lot of ways to describe it. I agree with you there. And I think that there are a lot of firms that have a lot of the pieces in place. They just don't have a structured methodology, and they're missing some pieces, and they need to figure out what those are. Maybe some of the pieces they're using they don't love. I love what you said about choosing the clients that you want to work with. Smaller firms tend to maybe be typically a little bit less choosy as they're starting up and growing, and they tend to have a lot of, sort of whatever clients need us, we're going to serve them. As they get larger, they start to begin to aggregate into certain industry segments and types of clients and that sort of thing, and really figuring out, which clients are going to be the kinds of clients that will allow us to serve them in the way we want to going forward. So instead of saying, well, my people really want to work remote, and I'm going to have to hire people outside of my geography, but my clients won't let me, so I'm not going to. Instead, you say, wait a minute, I'm going to have a borderless reach. I'm going to hire people outside of my geography. I'm going to have clients across this country or across this region. And so the clients that won't do that with us probably won't be our clients anymore. Who will do it with us?
Right.
And let's go after that.
And not
some of our clients will go along, and some of our clients will go along and some won't. That's how it goes.
Well, and you'll maintain what you have in the process, but I think there ends up being a lot of fear of doing exactly what you're talking about, because people envision these, clients that you've had in the past that you've just kept on going. And then in their head, they're like, oh, well, they would never do that, so I can't do that. And that's, not the answer. You want to look toward the future, the customer profiles that you want, and actually define those profiles. So, what type of working relationship do you want to have? How do they like to meet? What are their pain points? All of the things that, are enjoyable for you to work with a client. And that's where you want to head toward. It doesn't mean you're leaving everyone behind right now. It's just once you get some scale, then there's some decisions to make on, do those clients want to come along with you once you're there or not? But don't get, tied to that right now. Instead, focus on where you want to be, and then the rest will fall out later.
Yeah. And you and I were talking at the same time. I stepped on you, or you stepped on me, and I think I heard you say they're afraid to lose something, or they're afraid to let go, when we were talking about sort of defining the clients you want to serve and then being willing to have some not come along. And I just wanted to share that this week I did a guided meditation that was all on the subject of letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And, the idea of like, breathing in and then letting go of your thoughts, letting go of your fears, letting go of things that don't serve you anymore. I think that's it's sort of like cleaning your closet out. You go through your closet every 6 months or once a year and you say, this is all the stuff I don't wear. I've got to get this out of here. I think we have to do the same thing. You have to go through the closet of your clients.
Yeah.
You have to go through the closet of the policies that you've had in the firm, go through the closet of the strategies that you've had and really say, what's not serving us anymore? What's not going to serve us in 2025? This is a perfect time. This crisis is such a perfect time to reassess and sort of restructure your overall game plan so that it's one that calls to you and that you really believe will call to the next generation of clients and talent. And you're going to have to get into it and let go, right? What?
It's the Marie Kondo theory. Clean your closet. So it served you at the moment. Thank that customer, thank that work, and let it go and move on.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And for whatever reason, we're just so afraid. And of course, economic uncertainty could make us want to hold on. We could have a thing called, wait a minute, ladies, I don't know about that. This is a downturn possibly, and this isn't the time that you let go of anything. Well, I disagree. I think this is a perfect time to let go of those clients that are slow pay or no pay or don't appreciate technology or that we have to make tremendous exceptions on or that our talent don't like working on. This is the time to let that stuff go. And if we had to even trim our expenses, including our payroll after your PPP loan, in order to right size to serve the right clients, then that's a strategy that I could get behind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, so any big plans for the Memorial Day weekend here in this strange environment of COVID? Are you doing staycation? Are you hanging at home? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of fun things with friends this weekend. I mean, I'm hoping the weather will get better. This has been the worst spring as far as weather, but yeah, hopefully to be outside. How about you?
Our weather's been horrible too, Amy, and I haven't been able to get my flowers and my vegetables in the dirt yet. They're in my garage and I run them in and out, because we even got into the 40s most of last week every night. And so I'm praying that we haven't seen sunshine in a week maybe. And so I'm really praying for sunshine and a little warmth, and I'm going to garden and clean some closets out, and just do home improvement, maybe clean my garage. I don't know, whatever I can rope my husband into agreeing to. But I'm definitely going to garden, get my hands in the dirt, which will be awesome. I think we all should just try to figure out, instead of thinking about what's lost to us this Memorial weekend, how we love to travel or road trips or the swimming pool's open every year. And I've got lifeguard kids and one that runs the city pools, and she's not doing that this weekend. And there's a lot of loss, but instead of that, kind of focusing on like what's left and what's still here and what am I blessed to do this weekend? I think that's, what I'm trying to do to maintain some positivity and really view the 3 days off as a blessing.
Yeah. And clean your closet.
Yeah, exactly.
I still have plenty to do in my closet. So.
Yeah, me too. I'll confess I do too. So anyway, I guess I've motivated myself to clean out the closet. I hope you guys are motivated to clean out the closet of your clients or things that just don't work as you think about the post-COVID era or the summertime with COVID, maybe, as the better way to say it. And we've enjoyed being with you today. We hope you'll join us every Friday at noon. On behalf of my friend Amy and I, thanks, guys. We love being with you every week. Thanks. Bye now.
You.
Yeah.